I'm the librarian here. Okay. So in the late 60s, like right around when Lori was being born probably, there was a small group of friends in the Midwest teaching college. They were pretty new PhDs, and they were sharing all their frustrations with teaching higher ed and talking about what would make a better type of school. And fast forward 3 years, they bought some property in Southern Oregon. That's a bark burner. It's an old logging camp. And they bought it and they started making that better school. And the problems were that they didn't think that students had enough time to really engage with the material that they were studying, and they didn't think professors had enough time to really engage with their students and find out what they were thinking, and they were teaching at this small private Christian school where they didn't think there was really intellectual freedom. So I went to this school, and it's an off-campus program. It only lasts 1 semester, but that was enough to restructure everything I think education is. And I always did really well in school. This is a typical class at the Oregon Extension, the school that I'm talking about. But the school, when I always did really well in school, it was more that I was a model of good school behavior. I wasn't like successfully being educated. So I came out to this school and lived in community with 40 students and 6 professors who all live in this logging camp together. And this exists, like this is out in Oregon right now. And you just do one thing at a time, like one class at a time, one project at a time. You have 1 lecture a day. You meet in small groups at professors' houses. And this is Doug and Gerda. Gerda, badass rancher. She's not part of the story. But Doug is like, everybody who meets him comes away thinking he's some kind of saint. He's like so smart and so caring and so hilarious, like not in a patronizing, cute old man way, but like comic genius, like so great. So I spent a lot of time, that's Doug's office, working through these difficult books and thinking through the consequences of ideas. And I hadn't ever really thought myself worthy of the sort of books and subjects that we were reading out at this place. And so I'm reading, for example, like a book of interviews with Emmanuel Levinas called Is It Righteous to Be? Which was never a question I was really asking myself. And so I had never really taken myself seriously as like a moral agent, or what is my moral responsibility. And then I'm reading Peter Singer, and I wind up a vegetarian because like this is serious, like this being in the world, this is like I owe everybody everything. And it wasn't just me, like I had this profound kind of educational, intellectual awakening where learning is personal. And it was everybody. We'd have professors visit from other schools, and they'd come away, well, they'd like beg to stay. They'd think all the students were really special, but we weren't really special. There was something special about this school, and it's hard to pinpoint what that is. I was trying to think about like what is special about this school where you have, same person in school A reading and taking notes and writing papers, and then this same person in the Oregon Extension reading and taking notes and writing papers. And in school A, I'm like, it's that those activities are behavior, and in school, like in the Oregon Extension, those activities are cognition, or put another way, in the regular school, these are acts of obedience, and at the OE, these are acts of freedom, these exact same activities, which I think that's so cool that like things that are visibly identical are philosophically different, or it is like John Searle's thought experiment of the Chinese room, where there's a Chinese speaker interacting with somebody inside the room, passing notes under the door, and it's unclear whether the person inside the room actually knows Chinese or is following a set of instructions to pass Chinese characters that are right, like back outside the door. That from the outside, the scenario is the same, but those are really different realities, whether the person inside knows Chinese or is just following instructions. So I did this school in my last semester, and then when I graduated, I was I was hired to go out and work at the school. And so I showed up. This was 2002, which was a really bad year of forest fires in the West. And so, like, I think I'm going to be preparing for all of the students to come in the semester, and I'm going to be organizing all their files and all their paperwork and examining applications or I don't know what. But Doug, who I'm now good friends with, decides that we need to keep the forest safe, that it's going to burn down, and if the school burns down, everything, like the professors are over because they never got around to getting a retirement plan together. So the property is their retirement. So we go into town and we buy chainsaws and helmets and chaps, and Doug buys a tractor, and like, if you ever go shopping and come home with a tractor, you're gonna have a good day. And so we and I still do this. I still go out and we go up into the woods behind the school, and we cut down the thinnest, we thin the woods. We cut down, we mimic the purpose of fire if fire is behaving in like healthy forests, where the thinnest trees get cut down in order to leave enough space for the more successful trees to not have to deal with all that competition. And then there's less fuel in the fire. Anything that's burnable is just called fuel. And so we cut down all the brush and thin trees so that if fire does hit, it won't burn as hot, and it might not get up into the canopy where it will jump the fire lines and all of that. So, so this is what has become of my encounter with this school, but it's like the best thing that exists in the world.